What's up everyone? Today we're going to be playing around with one of the most unique pets that they have added in the game, that being the giant isopod. The thing that makes this pet unique is that it actually upgrades its own ability throughout the run, which I don't think I've seen any other pet do that. It's mostly like turn dependent or attack dependent, something like the eagle owl or the warthog for example, but when it comes to the giant isopod, it wants 2 trumpets from you, and in exchange it gives every single pet on your team plus 1 more health permanently for the end of the fight. It's kind of hard to put into words honestly, like most of the time the scaling is what increases when you buff up a pet, something like the sea lion for example, which also gives HP, gives double or triple the HP when you level it up. But in the case of the isopod, it's like a cumulative effect. It starts giving more and more HP, and the more you level it, the quicker it accumulates, which I thought to be very unique. So for this run, I think I will be combining the power of the isopod together with scorpions. I think it's one of the more obvious combos you can go for. Giant isopod, in case I didn't explain clearly what it does, upon fainting, it will give every single pet on your team 2 HP, and if you have 2 extra trumpets laying around, it will upgrade the ability to give 1 extra HP. So it will become 3, and then it will become 4, and then it will become 5, so on and so forward. And if you level up the giant isopod, it's going to be scaling even quicker than that. So by the end of the game, if you have managed to feign the giant isopod with trumpets for long enough, you can actually make it give up to 50 HP to every single pet on the team, which is absolutely crazy if you think about it. But yeah, this run took a lot of attempts to get off the ground. It's surprisingly weak considering how late the giant isopod comes into the game. It's a tier 5 pet, so we won't be seeing it for a while. That being said, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe, because this run really took a lot of effort to get going, but we finally did get this run, which I think I'm pretty happy with. So yeah, in the beginning we are going for generic summons. Here we get very lucky with the sheep and end up winning. I don't think we should have won that round, but here we go, we did win. And we have at least 1 level, actually 2 levels to go for turn 7. Which is our perfect level up turn, because both Scorpion and Giant Isopod are tier 5 pets, and both are going to be the cornerstones of the run. Here we should be winning, I'm pretty sure. We have too many summons for them to compete, and we end up winning with a backline beta fish. So here we go, we get actually 3 level ups this turn. First of them is the Nyala, which I think we're going to be taking eventually. Second one is a blobfish. It's not quite the isopod we're looking for, but at least it's 1 XP towards the isopod that we're going to be getting eventually. And the third level right here actually does result in the isopod finally, so you can read its ability on the screen in case I didn't do a good enough job explaining yet. But yeah, it's not going to be currently active unless we take the Nyala, which we do. Even still, I think it might be better to utilize the Nyala for the bigger golden retriever rather than upgrading the ability of the isopod. But still, I choose to be a little bit greedy. We're going to start upgrading the HP gain. We get a very lucky skeleton dog. We are actually so strong right here that we don't even get to feign the isopod, meaning that we don't get to upgrade the ability. Eventually we do want to ditch the Nyala, and instead we're just going to be running a cherry on the isopod itself, so it can supply itself with 2 trumpets. Speaking of cherry, here we go, we do eventually find it, and we're going to freeze it. This turn looks a little bit scary, but we are going to be having a backline 6-6, and we actually get a pretty decent summon out of the spider to claim the victory for us. So here we go, we take the cherry. Now we don't even need the Nyala, or we can just use it for tempo. We also do find a scorpion in the shop, so that is absolutely ideal. We're going to be buffing it up with some milks. Part of the reason why this build isn't as strong as you might originally think is that it has so many counters out there. Stuff like melon and lemon for one is going to be countering the peanut from the scorpions. Also, you have ailment application, which is extremely common. You have start of battle snipes, which can take out the scorpions before they gain some HP. Or in this case, for example, they just have one big unit, then we can actually supply HP with the scorpions, so they end up one-shotting us anyway. And unfortunately, that is what happens that turn, but thankfully we do scrape a tie, I believe it was. We take a level on the isopod finally, and it's going to be scaling that much more quickly. We're going to be working towards the level 3 as well, as we take a crow and a chocolate. And yeah, this is basically the build. Not super complicated, but it is very fun when it pops off. And I believe we're going to be getting a couple of crucial rounds right here. See, for example, this once again shows that it can be inefficient to have a scorpion with low amounts of attack but high amounts of HP, because the lemon just completely neutralizes it. But hopefully we get to eventually scale up just enough to where lemon is not actually a problem anymore. Now we get the level 3 isopod. We also find double bird of paradise in the shop. Once again, in order to prevent being start of battle sniped onto the scorpion, we really want some HP to begin with. Not a lot, but just enough so it can barely survive. Like you can see, for example, this turn we actually end up losing horrifically. Thankfully the stork bails us out though by summoning a level 3 Nyala, so we end up winning regardless, which was extremely lucky. That being said, we are now going to sell out of the Nyala, which just saved us, and hopefully we get to pivot into multiple scorpions on this turn. Here we go, scorpion number 2 has been acquired. Stork is the next unit to go, but I am a little bit hesitant to sell it still, especially after not having found the scorpion just yet. But hopefully we continue winning, because the stork is so powerful, and hopefully our setup as well. We get start of battle sniped and then we get one shot, but thankfully once again the stork is there to save us. It's more so a stork showcase than an isopod showcase at the moment, but here we go, we're finally selling out of it, and we're going to be taking the bird of paradise level as well, so we can get some extra scaling. I am thinking about the cockatoo right here, but I don't think it's the correct decision, because it would soak up some of the bird of paradise buffs, therefore neutralizing itself. We also find the final scorpion, so we're just going to be enjoying some final bit of buffs from the bird of paradise, which thankfully did land both times on the 3 scorpions, which I consider to be quite lucky. So hopefully we should be a little bit more dominant in the fight now. We have another lemon as the opponent, but thankfully this time we do have 9 attacks, so we can punch right through it. And we end up winning. Super satisfying. And I believe this is going to be the final turn coming up right here. We're going to be buying a pizza, a stew. We're going to be cycling in a toy. I don't think it's beneficial for us to get coconut or peanut, so we're just going to get the TV, and we're going to put in the final scorpion for the final team. So I really hope you enjoyed this build, and if you did, I really hope that you like, sub, do all the generic stuff, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.